From KC24, your local election headquarters, with your host, Evan Onstadt. This is Sunday Morning Matters.
Hey there, thank you so much for joining us here on this Sunday morning. We got a packed show today, lots to cover, including a bit of news involving the future of this program. That in a bit, but we start with last Sunday's historic vote for the California Republican Party. The group elected its first ever female leader at the GOP convention in Sacramento. Jessica Patterson is a Latino mother of two and also an outspoken ally of President Trump.
I know who the enemy is. It is not a single person in this room. The enemy is about 500 yards away over in that white building where every single day they are trying to take away our freedom and our liberty, and they are trying to tax everything that is out there.
Patterson won despite a loud and, I would say, often aggressive opposition from former Assemblyman and gubernatorial candidate Travis Allen, who wanted the job. Now, she has called on the state's Republican Party to unite, but Patterson faces major challenges growing the party here in California. We're bringing in our panel early today to talk about this. We start with our KC24 political analyst, the host of Unfiltered with Jim Veros, and most importantly, a new father. Jim, congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Well, he might be the conservative voice in the Valley. From News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ, Ray Appleton. Ray, always a pleasure having you here.
Always so early with you, I swear.
Yeah, I know. And she's a former Fresno City Council candidate and now a newly elected trustee on the Fresno Unified School Board, Veva Islas. Veva, nice to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's talk about what this means for the Republican Party, for conservatives here in the state of California. And let me start here with this. Let me show these voter registration numbers, right? And we can compare them, in fact. This is from 2018. Democratic Party, it's about 44%. Republican Party, 24%. No party preference. The NPP, now 28%. Compare that to 98 20 years ago. 47% Democrat, 36% Republican, and only 13% no party preference. Ray, the Republican Party, they got a problem on their hands. They are shrinking as the no party preference folks are creeping up. Can new leadership do anything to stem that tide?
I don't know. I think the last time I was here, you asked me about what the future of the party was. I said it didn't have one. And I'm still sort of leaning in that direction because California is so stacked in one direction. But I think with this whole, push towards independence and, NPP, I even mentioned, I think that's how some Republicans are actually going to win office statewide, by becoming an NPP on the ballot. So that may be the key for the future for conservative leadership or conservatism in California. So that may be Republicans in disguise. I think maybe that's the only way we're going to be successful in some of the up-ballot offices.
I would note that also the Democratic registration numbers, they've also dropped because of perhaps these NPP percentage votes. But that drop is only 3%. You heard Ms. Patterson there, Veva, saying the word enemy. She caught a lot of flack, I think, from some members of the Democratic Party, saying we're not enemies, we are maybe political opponents, we're Californians. Do you take offense to that sort of language?
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, we all breathe the same air, we drink the same water, we all care about the future of our children. So I think that we do need to talk in a language that unites us. She's a Latina, so I got to applaud the Republican Party for that. But you need to do more than just put people of color in these positions. You really have to start articulating a platform that is inclusive, and I think that hasn't happened in a while. I commend them for bringing the first Taiwanese American VP. They have an openly gay treasurer. So I do feel like they're trying to make inroads to broaden their tent, if you will, and bring in more reflective perspectives of California as a whole.
I'm happy to see Travis Allen didn't get it. I want to say
Are you really? What
he's yesterday's news.
Okay, so you think it would have been an even bigger problem for the state Republican
Party? I think it would have been. A lot of my friends are going to hate me, but I think it would have been a huge problem. Yeah. I think he's just too anxious, and he's too confrontational.
Interesting.
And we need somebody in there that's just going to try and smooth things over a little bit. And I don't think he was the guy.
Of course, Jim, when we talk about Republicans, not just in California, but across the country, they are tied, of course, to our current president, President Trump. And here in California, that has not been a very good thing.
No.
for the Republican Party? Do they need to separate themselves somehow, or do you hang on and maybe just wait for new leadership?
Need and will are two separate questions. Should they? I think for their own salvation in regards to running for local office and statewide office, I think it could be an argument that you could make politically depending on the area of California that you're in. But is that going to happen? Absolutely not. Very, very rarely does a state party of any state, when they are in a position where their party is controlling 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, are they going to bolt from their dialect. So it's not going to happen, and I think that this was probably a good first step for the Republican Party in the state of California to hit Control-Alt-Delete on what their platform is. I agree with Ray that Travis Allen getting elected would have been a travesty for moving forward for the California Republican Party. And you saw how quickly a lot of folks that would consider themselves moderates mobilized when Travis Allen released that video announcing that he was running for that seat. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah. I don't see a lot of the platform changing overnight. It is a good first step for them politically, but you don't come back from a generation of losing in one election cycle. It's going to take
Absolutely,
time.
Yeah, some different leadership, Veva, as you pointed out right there. We'll see what happens. I do want to also ask about the governor. He was on the East Coast, he was in Washington, then he went up to New York. He actually sat down with the New York Times, and they put forth some quotes that I actually thought were pretty interesting. We actually have one of them that we can point up right there. Talking about California, he says, in every way, we, speaking about California, are America's coming attraction. And I say every way because literally America in 2019 was California in the 1980s and 1990s. Everything we're experiencing, the xenophobia, the nativism, the fear of the other. Think back to Pete Wilson and Prop 187. That would make Donald Trump blush. Is the governor right on this? Veva, do you think?
Well, I think I can appreciate his perspective, but the truth is that, you know, the United States has a long history of racism and oppression and inequity that's been perpetuated. I don't think that California has solved all of the issues. I think we've made some progressive progress, but we still have a long way to go.
It's interesting. Ray, I saw you kind of shake your head just a little bit there.
I'm so damn tired of hearing America is a racist country. I want to throw up. You know, we've made such strides. People? Damn right. There are a lot of racist people, but as a racist country, when you have interracial relationships and marriages up by 82% in the last 30 years.
Amen. I'm one of them.
You tell
me. But that
me,
doesn't mean there isn't a racist history.
Well, I'm not denying the racist history.
That's all
you
I
mentioned
said.
we are a racist country now.
No, I said America has a long history of being racist.
Okay, well then I misunderstood.
Thank you.
But when you couch that something in present day, I mean, I get my hackles up big time.
Well, I was listening to your show this past week, and you guys were talking about race, and I know you had a lot of passionate listeners as well. Governor Newsom, when he's speaking about California here, Jim, you know, he's talking, though, he is kind of talking about California apparently has turned the page, I think, at least when it comes to this issue.
Yeah, I think that's what the governor is saying, and obviously we've been talking about this since Governor Newsom was elected in regards to he has, his career is not going to end in Sacramento in his eyes.
He wants to be president.
He is looking at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, right? Yeah. And he has the perfect opponent in regards to his soapbox politically in President Trump. You cannot find two more different candidates in those two. So the more Governor Newsom says, hey, we are the more refined, we are smarter than everybody else, we know how to do things, it's going to continue to put him in the national press, which is where he wants to be, especially with more than 20 Democrats now running for the Democratic nomination next year for president. So how does Gavin Newsom keep his name in the news cycle and keep Donald Trump upset with him? Saying stuff like this.
He also said one more thing, and we're out of time, but I just wanted to read it because I thought it was interesting. He said, someone recently said to me, you are just America, talking again about California. You are just America, but more so. More poverty, more problems, more opportunity, more ambition. It's interesting, and it's an interesting point, and it's something that just kind of popped out at me. You guys hang out. We're going to come on back. We've got lots more to talk about, including that supervisor election coming up here this week. But coming up after the break, the table is set. The plans have been made. How Fresno plans to spend tens of millions of dollars on projects to transform parts of the city. Mayor Lee Brand joining me next.